Okay, we've been looking at a few cases where the families refused to accept the medical declaration of brain death. Is it always this way? Well, there are some opposite kinds of cases, and I just want to bring one up here. This is a case that happened in Texas, Marlise Munoz, and she was a paramedic who was declared brain dead, and she was pregnant. And the hospital in this case refused to withdraw life support due to a Texas law prohibiting the withdrawal of life-sustaining treatment from a pregnant patient. Her family didn't want her to be kept on life support. I mean, what they're trying to do, and this has happened a couple times, is to try to maintain the brain dead body, I guess the dead body, on life support until the fetus could be viable. And sometimes this works and sometimes it doesn't. The interesting thing here is that there's a law that seemed to require it, and that the family didn't want Marlise to be sustained this way. Ultimately, they took it to court, and the court ruled in favor of the family. So there's a couple of interesting things here about this case. That summary again: family wanted the brain death declaration honored. They wanted all treatment stopped. The providers refused to stop life support due to a state law. So a couple questions, I'll just throw them out for you to think about here. Some have to do with the moral standing of a 14-week fetus. It's something we talked about in the last unit. Okay, so we could ask, do we have a moral obligation to a fetus to maintain the body of its dead mother in order to try to ensure its survival? So this is is the moral status, the moral standing of the newly dead body, which is partial, if anything. Is our obligations to it more serious than our obligations to the fetus? We argued that fetuses have at least partial moral standing, and at some point they would have full moral standing in late term. So it might depend on the I guess what you call the developmental age of the fetus. Another related question is, does this obligation support having laws that require this support? This is kind of an odd case where you have a law that requires this support. Should the legal requirement extend to the bodies of the dead? I'm always kind of wondering, why would they think a dead body sustaining a fetus would count under this law? Another set of questions might have to do with the standing of the corpse. Even if the dead have lost full moral standing, does the partial moral standing of the newly dead overrule using the dead body to support a developing fetus? So this is the other question on the flip side. Whose moral standing should we honor? Okay. Do the previous wishes of the newly dead matter at all? What if Marlise, she hadn't left any advance directives, but her husband argued that she wouldn't have wanted this? Okay, so do her wishes count for how her body is used? Typically, we might think they should to some extent, right? And would any conditions, like there's a fetus involved here, overrule what somebody wanted done with their body after they died? And then I think we should also think about, what are the social benefits or obligations supporting the law requiring the use of a dead body to support a developing fetus? Would these laws extend to using the body to support an unrelated fetus or even other human beings? So it looks like this law is open for abuse, right? And laws should be made because there's some social benefit. So how does society benefit? Clearly the fetus benefits here. And if it's simply because it's because life is important, and we want laws that support life, well, how would you limit that law morally to just the corpse, the previous mother's fetus? Or what about you could use that law to hook up Marlise's body, let's say she wasn't pregnant, to some other developing fetus? And I'll put this article underneath here, but I think this is relevant because there has been a recent article. Someone's arguing that we could use these bodies, dead women's bodies declared brain dead, as surrogates. We could use them to actually gestate a fetus. And that seems well, that seems wrong to me. It seems that our obligations to the body would not allow us to do that. Okay, so these are questions, something for you to think about, that arise when we move into these new uncharted territories.